Hello, everyone. It's Kazim on the Tech Talk Show, and I have another interesting guest with me on today's show. Is the group consultant at Dangote Industries, Dr. Oluwakolade Abayomi. Welcome to the Tech Talk Show, Doctor.
Thank you, Mr. Kazim. Nice to be here.
Do you mind to give my audience a little bit of introduction about yourself now before we start with the topic at hand?
Oh, okay. Thank you. My name is Abayomi Oluwakolade. I'm a medical doctor, right? I've had the opportunity to work in a corporate sector, most of my career, and it has been very interesting. So I've done a lot, when it comes to corporate medicine, emergency rescue, primary health care, and workplace wellness. That has been my background, over the last 20 something years. So currently, I'm deep into the private sector, right? So I tend to kind of help companies and organizations manage the wellness of their staff and employees, to achieve the SDG goals, which is my aim right now. So that's a brief of what I do right now.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. So I want us to kickstart with the healthcare challenges in corporate settings. Given your corporate experience now in the whole of this, what specific obstacles have you encountered in delivering healthcare services, especially you working in a company as big as Dangote Industries? So do you mind to share?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So, first of all, you need to understand that people come from different backgrounds that come to work in these organizations. So, there are a lot of factors that are involved when it comes to their health challenges. So, I would say there's occupational health issues, right, and non-occupational. Now, for the non-occupational, everybody can come with their own profile. They can be hypertensive, they can be diabetic, before they join a company, right? But when they join a company like a multinational that's into production, they get exposed obviously to other stimuli in the environment, so they could pick up other what we call operational health disease. So it's therefore a company, to really understand, how they want to address that and make it a priority. So the challenges are very huge in a country like ours where a little premium is paid to healthcare. If you see the budget of most companies, healthcare carries just a little, to address the employees' matters. So it starts from from budgeting. We have to fight, the management to, run these health programs for the employees so that they can see the benefits and they can be more productive. So that, I think, is the main issue, is the budget, to healthcare programs. While for the employees themselves, they also take health for granted. Nigerians, we believe in so many things. We have a multicultural background, church, mosque, also. So we don't believe that we should put an effort for health, take for granted. So if you add those two together, you find a very passive, program for healthcare within the organization, and it's been a big challenge. So one of the things that we are trying to do over the years is to drive that awareness. So awareness, within the employee community on why they need to stay healthy. Is for their benefits, their family, and for their productivity. So and they are now understanding the reason, and we are seeing a better compliance when it comes to health programs within the corporate sector at large.
So my next question for you is going to be around work-life balance. Just like people in IT, I guess doctors are even super busy most of the time, given the nature of what they do. They are very busy people. So I want to ask you, how do you prioritize work-life balance and maintain that healthy equilibrium, given the demanding nature of your job?
Yeah, so that's another very interesting topic, which people unfortunately they commonize it. Work-life balance, is a very serious topic and it's scientific. So it's not why you just wake up and say, let me try and do by myself. There's a science behind work-life balance, because the things that makes you human and function are defined by science. So most people say manage your time, manage stress, manage change, manage your social interactions. Yeah, they are among, but I will define it into like 4 or 5 basic topics. So one you have to pay it to your social wellness. It's a huge one, right? Social interaction within the community, it makes you sane, right? You have to pay it to your mental health. We all know about what's happening now in the world. Is a big topic now, very hot mental health issues in the workplace. You have to pay, attention to that. You have to pay attention to your physical wellness, which is perhaps one of the biggest ones because, like you said yourself, IT guys, doctors will sit down a lot morning to night, right? So you have a lot of what we call musculoskeletal disorders. So pain in the back, pain in the wrist, pain in the neck. These are serious issues that will stop you from doing that work, right? So those things, you need to plan for them. And absolutely, you need a new concept now called financial wellness. You cannot have a work-life balance without being financially viable. And it's not about how much you earn, actually. It's about what you plan with what you earn. How do you know your need from your wants? How do you manage what you have, saving for retirement, savings for emergencies? So that's what actually gives you a work-life balance. If you're able to combine those factors, in fact, we are working on an application to address that right now, whereby every individual will know their wellness status over 100, and you can track it and improve it. That is the ultimate, aim for you to know whether you are living a balanced life, you are mixing work well, and you are doing the right thing to be done in terms of exercising, the right diet, right time to eat, right time to sleep, right time to play. Learn to say no, learn to create boundaries, and learn to rest. All those things become, under those 4 or 5 major topics I've said. So, it's a pretty interesting topic that I'm sure we'll start seeing the deployment later very soon, even in Nigeria.
You just mentioned in your response now that you're building an app currently, that is going to help people with their work-life balance. So,
Yes.
and my background myself is also in IT, in tech. So I want to ask you, what's your take on the impact of integrating technological solutions such as health information management systems or perhaps other technology now in modern healthcare delivery?
Yeah, so fortunately, I've developed in the last couple of years, last 6 years, I've developed a passion for health technology. So, I've done a lot of studies, using artificial intelligence, blockchain, natural language processing. So I'm really deep into that, and I've used a lot of applications, even personally in my business, to give solutions to people. So it's going to change the world. That's the truth. It's going to change the world, and if you are not tuned to that, I'm not sure you have the future as a doctor or even as a patient, because it's going to make the world go round. It's a very broad topic, digital health, and it has so many applications, so many topics where it erupts. So, but one of the biggest ones in this part of the world that we call us LMIC, low medium income countries, where you have funding gap, you have very few personnel, you have few infrastructures. We need this technology to help us bridge the gap, obviously. So number one is telemedicine, obviously. Telemedicine is a game changer. It will build a bridge with, for access to medical consultation, which is where it all starts. Talk to a doctor, then every other thing follows, right? So telemedicine is a big one. And another one is the EMR, the electronic medical records. Nowadays, most hospitals are now going paperless, and it's nice to know, because we cannot have information about you in one place where anybody can access it and use to plan for your future. We can plan for your health, we can plan, for the drugs, we can plan for your allergies. So it's fantastic. We're getting to that level where, every information about your data can be found in a place where it is secured, it can be analyzed, it can be shared, and it can be transferred to other platforms. So it's really interesting. But the one that really interests me actually, that is the wearables, right, and the trackers. The trackers are come to stay. Without tracking, that's why you see a surge in sudden death in our environment. You have to track your vitals, track your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your BMI. Those are the killers. In fact, you know that Africa right now accounts for 30%, almost 30% of global chronic disease. That is where we are in Africa. That's why you see people stumbling all over the place. So we need to track our wellness status. We must track it. So in fact, it pays Africa more than any other continent. I'll tell you for a fact. So health technology, digital health, it has come to say. I mean, you look at teleradiology, teledentistry, telemedicine itself, e-health. They have applications all over that will help every human endeavor, and I think it's a very good one for us in Africa.
Okay. So building on what you've just mentioned, also telemedicine and e-health. What is your perspective on those two now? Let's focus on those two, telemedicine and e-health. How do you envision these technologies shaping the future of healthcare, especially here in Nigeria? I don't think we're starting to take advantage of this very much. What's your take? How do you envision that these technologies will shape the future of healthcare?
Okay, so e-health is a very broad topic, right? E-health is probably the parent name for all these technologies. So, and it involves so many, like for example, e-prescribing, right? EMR is under it. Telemedicine is under it. You have wearables, you have mobile health, right? And you have your health information online, which is a very big one now. So in Africa, I think what we lack right now is the infrastructure to support these systems in terms of power, in terms of internet connectivity, and in terms of interoperability, which we don't have. So, I mean, I know a lot of effort has been done, to connect people to, internet access where they can, use these services. But then, if we were to survive, if we were to, overcome the issues of health inequality, diversity, equity, and inclusion, right, we need to find our own solutions, our own grown solutions. That's why I'm happy that there are a lot of startups right now in Nigeria. I'm sure you have heard one or two, that are coming up in the health tech space that are trying to change the narrative using homegrown solutions to solve, local problems. Right, so you see a lot of EMR companies coming around. You see a lot of tracking companies. You see a lot of people selling micro insurance to provide access to people, in the underserved areas. So for me, the future is bright. It's going to shape the future, like I said, but we just have to commit ourselves to as a people, and empower the startups in that field to excel. Everything has to do with funding. You must be funded. They must be mentored, and whatever they're working on must be, matched to the national programs. On maybe on emergency, on wellness, or whatever it is the national program is doing. We must match technology to deliver the best, out of them.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Doctor. So let's wrap up with your advice for enhancements in healthcare infrastructure, especially here in Nigeria. You've touched on it briefly by saying people will have to improve on internet, their internet facilities and the likes. So what advice do you have for organizations seeking to improve their healthcare services and infrastructure, drawing from your experience now in health consulting?
Yeah, so that's broadly divided into two. So that there are the providers and there are the receivers, right? So the providers are your hospitals, right? Your HMOs and all the likes that provide services. They have a lot to do to create programs, relevant programs for these organizations. Hospital has to spend money on technology so that people can have access, right? Faster time, to consult and virtual services where they don't have to waste their time in the hospital. That will be the first one I would advise the healthcare centers. The laboratory services, they must adopt technology to do reporting as faster and smarter, right? For the organizations, they also have to improve their budget, like I said, because that's where it all starts from. Any company that does not take the healthcare of its workforce serious is heading for the rocks. I can tell you, for a fact. I mean, that they will not last because the bottom line of any company is directly, proportional to the health of its workforce. You cannot separate it. You cannot. So what that means is that HR, most of them is HR, and the management should look at their company, their peculiar health issues, and tap knowledge from the society, occupational health practitioners, physical physicians, EAP programs, and develop robust programs and track them, not just to build, but track them over the years so that there's a meaningful improvement and impact on the employee, their families, and the company. Then you see a vibrant company and you're ready for the future.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Oluwakolade Bayomi, for your insights on today's show. I've learned a lot myself, and I'm sure my viewers are going to learn a lot from this episode. It used to be all about tech, but I'm just starting to mix things up on the channel a little bit because of my second career now in healthcare myself. So,
Okay.
yes. So, is there any last words from you before we close out the show today?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, what I would say is this: artificial intelligence, is the bedrock of, what can help us to cover the gaps in Africa, and in Nigeria, indeed. If you look at our peculiar situation, there's a manpower shortage, doctors and nurses. There's infrastructure deficit, right? There's a huge funding gap, over $100 billion in funding gap in healthcare in Africa right now. And obviously there's a lack of technical expertise, and technology adoption is very slow. So it will take advocacy, political will, from the government to drive. I mean, they're trying. You can see what they're doing at the center. The Minister of Health, Professor Pate, has been trying to, drive everybody to come to the table. Just last week, they inaugurated the Digital Health Forum, the committee which should drive digital programs within the country. So, I mean, I think we're on the right path, but as individuals, as companies, we must tap into what is done at the central, and all eyes should be on the ball, that everyone in Nigeria, in Africa, stays healthy, because the data that we have right now is not looking good, and we need to work against that tide to achieve a very good wellness index for Africans, as a continent.
All right. So I'm sure you picked a lesson or two from today's conversation with Dr. Abayomi. So until next time now, please continue to stay curious and keep exploring the endless possibilities that tech offers to improve our lives. So this is myself now and Dr. Abayomi signing off on today's Tech Talk episode. See you again next time. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Yeah, bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.